What's good, everybody? It's your boy Shenanigans bringing you the second installment of my Search and Destroy story about my shoulder. This time it is over hotel, not going to talk about the gameplay, kinda campy, blah blah blah. So, on the last episode, I gave the background on how my shoulder started hurting and whatnot, and I left off right before my third deployment to Iraq. So, in February, we deployed to Iraq. We lived in Kuwait for a month. Me and one of my NCOs, we went to the gym, and I was lifting weights, but I couldn't lift heavy. So, I could bench like 135 tops before my shoulder would start killing me. For any shoulder exercises, for like presses, I'd do 10 to 15 pound dumbbells. It was just ridiculous. So, um, we get to where we're going, which was in western Baghdad, this little crap hole joint security station, um, just west of Abu Ghraib, and we really didn't have much going on there. It was a pretty bad place. Luckily, I was with some good people. So we kind of lived like cavemen. You'd shower like once a week. We had a we had a gym at first, but it really didn't have much in it. And then we started to get a lot more equipment, so it was nice. So I kept on working out, went to see the doc because a lump in my shoulder was getting way bigger. It was getting pretty crazy. So I'm lifting more and more, and now you can see the lump in my shoulder as opposed to just feel it. And you could feel the heat coming from it. It always had a hot feeling. So I thought that was kind of odd. Um, then I go to my doc, who was not our battalion doctor. He was a surgeon who was attached to us. So no one really knew him prior to deployment. He just showed up with us. Our battalion doc was at another little cop that we were at with just a company of people there. So I go to see him a couple times, and he tells me it's probably cartilage damage from me playing football in high school because I separated that shoulder and also dislocated it. So he said it's probably arthritis setting in and it could be cartilage, but he would order me some X-rays whenever we got back to the States. That he didn't think it was anything too big of a deal. Now when like someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, what's going on?" Like they kind of like put the arm out and like hit you on the shoulder. One of my buddies did that to me, and it literally dropped me to the ground in pain. It was just crazy pain. So I could no longer lay on it. Could not lay on the left side of my body. It hurt too much to lay on that side. Like if I'm sleeping and I rolled over onto my left side, I immediately woke up. That's how bad it was. So time for leave starts coming around for people. So we're working extra long hours than what we normally were. So I'm pulling like 18 to 20 hour shifts. I work out in the middle of the day around 2 because it's usually a lull because it's super hot out. Then I run at night after we have our little battalion meetings. And my shoulder's still killing me. I go out on patrols a couple times a week, do my thing. Um, I kind of don't let the soldiers know that I'm hurting too bad because there's no reason for it. They see me trucking through with the ones who know I'm having some severe shoulder pain, then they know that hey, you know, sergeant's doing it, then I got to do it too. Regardless how bad I'm hurting. I always try to lead by example. So we it's I don't know, June, July. My captain, my OIC goes on leave, and he comes back, and I'm telling him my shoulder's killing me. It is absolutely awful. So our battalion surgeon guy goes on leave, and our doc comes back. So I go to see the doc, and the doc writes me this thing, and wants me to go to the CASH, which is a combat support hospital in Baghdad, to get it checked out. So the next day, I go with our Sergeant Major's convoy because they're going into Baghdad to do some stuff, and I go to our battalion TAC there, and someone drives me over to the CASH. So I go, and there's a major nurse who's on duty, and I hand her the slip, and of course she looks at me like I'm a dirtbag, which I already feel bad. I already feel bad enough as is, so I really, did not need the look of disgust that I got from her, but there's nothing I could do about it. So it says that our doc wanted me to get X-rays and whatever that thing's called when a woman gets when she's pregnant. Can't remember the name of it right now. And so they give me X-rays, and or no, first they do the thing that when you're pregnant, so they put it on my shoulder, and the major was like, yeah, there's definitely something there, but it's not liquid, so we can't tell what it is. So they bring this little X-ray machine over because it's like a portable one, and they take X-rays while I'm laying in bed, and there's some lieutenant, asking me questions and stuff. So I'm, talking to her. Then they come back with the X-rays, and then there's the lieutenant colonel who's like the chief surgeon there for the trauma unit, and he's asking me questions on whether I ever suffered any severe trauma to my left side. And when I had my motorcycle accident back in '06, which is going to be an installment right after this series is done, I did. So he asked me if I ever broke my shoulder, and I was like, no, I definitely never broke my shoulder, because you could see where the normal top of your shoulder bone is on your humerus, which is the top part of your arm, right where it bumps out on that shoulder part on the side. There's like a piece of bone, protruding. So, they were kind of alarmed. So they put me in to have a CAT scan done, a CT scan. And so I go in, and I'm allergic to shellfish, which I've had CT scans, and I know that they use a shellfish. It's an iodine-based like gel that goes through your body. So I tell the dude before he even hooks the IV up into me, I was like, hey, I'm allergic to shellfish. He's like, oh, it's okay. He's like, this one isn't the same. He's like, it's some other type of deal. So I was like, all right, whatever. So he puts me into the CT scan, and he starts pumping it. Immediately, my whole world fades to black. I know inside that I am about to die because I am deathly allergic to the iodine in shellfish. So everything blacks out. I start throwing up inside the CT machine. They sound some button. Tons of people, I guess, come rushing in. I remember getting pulled out and getting hit with two EpiPens. And then I remember there was a trash barrel right next to me, because this is the first thing that I actually remember seeing was a trash barrel. And it was full of scrubs, and I just puked all in it because my body was so hot from the allergic reaction. So they go back through that. Dude who actually gave me that stuff ends up getting fired. So they go back through the process and give me the other stuff which they were supposed to give me in the first place instead of trying to kill me. And so I'm now sitting out on the bed while the doctors are looking at it, and that lieutenant colonel, calls me over to his computer in the side of the trauma center. And, I'm looking around. There's other people who are, actually hurt, people who have got hurt in battle. One dude got a piece of shrapnel in his eye. So, I mean, I kind of feel like a dirtbag that I'm there because, my shoulder's hurting to me. It's like, not a good thing to feel like. So the lieutenant colonel calls me over, and he tells me that I have a tumor in my shoulder, and it's about the size of a golf ball. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I was like, all right, well, what do we do? Do we operate it whenever I redeploy, or what? And he's like, no, we're gonna evac you tonight. He's like, we need to get this thing out as soon as possible. And then he tells me, yeah, I'm a very optimistic guy. I always look at the bright side of life. So when he tells me that there is a very strong possibility that I'm going to lose my left arm because of where the tumor is located, and that if it's cancerous, I'm done. They're going to have to cut off my arm regardless, because if not, it can and will kill me. So that kind of, sucked. I was a little depressed, so I went into the to this little side room and called my wife, let her know I was getting evac. And the thing is, I'm a big joker, so no one ever takes me seriously. So she didn't believe me, and then I called my soldier back at where I work, just west of Baghdad, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm getting evac'd, so let our captain know. And of course, he didn't take me seriously either. So I ended up getting evac 2 nights later because of dust storms. But that whole time I'm just sitting there thinking, I mean, I didn't do anything. There was 2 lieutenants who were in charge of this ward where I sat, and it was really depressing because I just sat there, and you have nothing to do but think. Because I mean, I called my wife once a day for like 5 minutes. The doctor wouldn't let me smoke, so that was even harder. And I mean, it was just so rough. And sitting there thinking, damn, you know, I always thought, if I lost a limb, I'd want to kill myself. And then I realized, hey, if I lose a leg, it's not that bad of a deal. Prosthetics, you can do a lot with. But losing an arm, it's pretty harsh. There's not much you can do with just one arm. I couldn't play video games. You guys wouldn't be watching me do this because I'm not that talented. I'm, quite special. So I'm, pretty depressed. And then I got evac to Germany, and I talked with a clinical oncologist, which is a cancer doctor, basically. And she tells me pretty much the same thing, that um, there's a very strong possibility that I'm going to lose my arm, that I'm going to Brooks Army Medical Center in San Antonio so they can operate on it right away. So that is where I'm going to leave you guys off with. So that was the third deployment to Iraq, and the last deployment is going to be the whole part of being in Brooks Army Medical Center, the surgery and post-op, to let you guys know what's going on. So please stay tuned. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.